Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergok, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at why Ainz Ooal Gown's strongest skill is actually his greatest weakness. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as say thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's get to the topic at hand. The goal of all life is death. Ainz Ooal Gown's seemingly overpowered skill that eliminates any opponent in a single strike. It's not only capable of destroying zombies, vampires, golems, and any other creatures typically immune to death magic, but when an area of effect spell like Cry of the Banshee is enhanced with it, it also annihilates all matter within its range. And that's how a once fertile forest floor was turned into a hostile wasteland, where air itself was saturated with death in such a way that it could kill anybody who breathes it. In other words, if you didn't like the Lake of Rot from Elden Ring, well, Ainz could, as a bonus damage, just during a fight as an afterthought essentially, create a desert of death blight. And while the air merely caused a standard death effect, to which Shelty and Ainz are immune, the question arises, why is this seemingly monstrous skill considered a weakness by me? Because actually it has two weaknesses. It takes 12 full seconds to activate this skill, and in a modern battlefield, that's just a few moments behind cover. But in a duel against a legendary vampire like Shelty Bloodfallen, it's an eternity. If Ainz takes too much damage during that one time, or his health drops to 0, the spell is interrupted, and of course he's defeated. And that's it. The skill just fails in the best of circumstances if too much damage is taken. So for 12 seconds, any caster using this skill is a sitting duck. And the only reason Ainz even managed to land the goal of all life is death, or rather Cry of the Banshee enhanced with it on Shelty and her clone Ainz, was because Shelty Bloodfallen was busy farming health by attacking summons. And if you ever fought Melania, Blade of Miquella, or rather Blade of Griffith the femboy, just Griffith, from Berserk, then you will understand the strategy. In other words, Shelty was distracted, and her clone was fighting alone, and Ainz, who not only looked like a faith build, but also had buffed himself like one, was able to cast the spell. But if he, the caster, had taken too much damage before casting finishes, the spell would be cancelled, and the mana is then still consumed, and nothing happens to the enemy. And this was exactly what Shizu Delta's clone managed to do twice to him in the fight between him, Ainz Ooal Gown, the Pleiades doppelganger, and the Overlord of Wrath. And we are talking about a buffed clone of just a level 46 battlemate, meaning that the move against Ainz was very risky. And Ainz only pulled it off because he knew his opponent well, against an unknown enemy, especially without his many buffs. This would likely have gone terribly wrong. And even if you land the spell, the fight might not be over. And Shelty was still able to counter at Ainz Ooal Gown's strongest skill passively, simply by being revived by an item that her creator Pero Ronchino had given her. She didn't even need to cast a counter spell. No 12-second preparation, no problem. Just wait it out, knowing you will come back. And meanwhile, Ainz still managed to inflict some damage upon Ainz Ooal Gown. And the only reason Ainz Ooal Gown's attack was effective was because Ainz, Shelty's clone, stayed dead. This was the price that Shelty had to pay for her oversight of not attacking Ainz Ooal Gown with her clone. But otherwise, it was still a very great counter. But the goal of all life is death can be countered even without special items. Mare, for example, used the spell Phoenix Flame to employ the same strategy. He let the strongest spell of Zeshi Zetsumai, or rather the strongest skill of Zeshi Zetsumai, which enhanced her death spell, hit him, only to come back. Meaning a simple resurrection spell can nullify a spell that requires a special Eclipse class to use, a class unlockable only to Ainz Ooal Gown's unique character build. and usable only by someone like Zashi due to her special talent, psychometry. So much of the experience invested in these classes would normally be wasted, simply because this spell could be countered quite easily. And just by basically sacrificing a bit of mana and knowing a basic spell. And these investment costs into the defense are just way cheaper than investing all of these skills and all of the experience points and unlocking all of these specific classes just so you can use this very skill. And if Zashi hadn't been able to dodge the Staff of Mare, she wouldn't even have been able to hit Mare with this spell in the first place because she would have taken too much damage. In other words, even if you manage to mitigate the vulnerability caused by the long casting time and the forced passivity, the skill itself can still be countered with ordinary magic or items, which shifts the balance of power heavily against the user if the attack fails. So even though the goal of all life is death is an iconic skill, its long casting time, combined with resurrection magic, makes it surprisingly easy to counter and very risky to use in normal fights, especially against unknown enemies. But okay, that's the topic for today and for this video, and now it's your turn. What's your opinion on the video and on the topic at hand? Let me know it down in the comment section. And while you type, I say thank you very much for watching, thanks to all of my Patreons for supporting this channel, and as usual I say my special thanks to Order Daddy Order, ASK, Bad Girl Yee, Bad Burrito 316, Beezer, Ben C, Brandon S, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Din Pep, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feralchivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Le Louche Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Lofrazer, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, Oh Kill, Overlord General Gaspar, Paddy Pentum, Personage, Ruru, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Q&A Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rocket Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenokai, and Sonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.